So I guess today is the day for me to complain about things, because I just finished up a video of me complaining about things. And then I was surfing Twitter and found this. Apparently, Steve Bannon is in the news. And I just want to preface this before anything. I don't like Steve Bannon. I don't think he's like an evil human being, because I don't know if he is or not. I'm not saying he isn't, but I don't know that much about him besides what I saw in the news and everything while he was part of Trump's cabinet. But I don't like him. I don't agree with him on anything much politically. But I found this, and I'm going to use this is what seems to be the closest thing to the original source here, from the Richmond Times-Dispatch. Richmond bookstore owner says he called police after a woman confronted Steve Bannon in his shop. This is Black Swan Books. A bookstore owner in Richmond said he called the police after a woman confronted Steve Bannon, former White House chief strategist for Trump, in his shop Saturday. Nick Cook, owner of Black Swan Books, said Bannon was in the bookstore Saturday afternoon and that a woman confronted him, calling a piece of trash. Cook said he called 911 and that the woman left as he made the call. Steve Bannon was simply standing, looking at books, minding his own business. I asked her to leave, and she wouldn't. And I said, I'm going to call the police if you don't, and I went to call the police, and she left. Cook said, and that's the end of the story. Richmond Police Department confirmed a call was made about 3:15 p.m. Saturday. Report for someone yelling at a political figure in the bookstore, and that the call was canceled before any officers responded. We were at a bookshop. Bookshops are about ideas and tolerating different opinions, and are not about verbally assaulting somebody, which is what was happening. So the choice of words here is really important, because I can't help but notice that in all these articles about what happened, a bunch of other articles that, and especially this one too, they all say confronted. They don't say harassed. They don't say bullied. They say confronted, which is a much less like a much less like it's a much less annoying, a much less much more justified term compared to like harassed, which no one's going to justify harassment of any kind. So, but that seems to be what happened. One person was harassed by another person in, of all places, a bookstore. And as I was going through Twitter, I saw all these people saying, like, oh my god, Steve Bannon's a horrible person. Now this bookshop is now white supremacist. This bookshop is white supremacist, is what they're saying. It is fascist. It is for defending fascist Steve Bannon and all that. How, oh my, this bookstore is such a horrible person, or horrible organization. The owner is a horrible person, and all that stuff, which there are all kinds of different sides to politics, and they're all different kinds of like two sides. There are a million different ways to say there are two different sides to things, and you can say like there's group A which believes this and group B which believes that, but in this case there are two sides to politics: the people that are intolerant and the people that are tolerant. And then I know people say you can't be tolerant of fascists, but this is the thing. I would have done exactly what the bookstore owner did. And again, I do not like Steve Bannon, but I like to think I am principled and that I am a tolerant person. If someone entered my bookstore, I don't care what their politics are, as long as they're minding their own business, as long as they're not causing problems, I would tolerate them. That is my policy. As long as they're there just to buy books and leave and not cause any problems, fine. Like, whatever. I am never going to deny someone the ability to go in and buy books as long as they're being peaceful and tolerant and nice. But what happened here was a woman went into the store, another guy went into the store, the woman started harassing this man, and the store owner was like, please leave. And the woman didn't leave. So he was like, okay, I'm going to have to call the cops. And then when he went to call the cops, the woman left. That is exactly what I would have done. I can't understand how anyone, except an intolerant person, would have been against that. This bookstore owner did the right thing. He was being tolerant. And I know, like, you have to take the identities of the people about it. You have to apply your principles universally. You don't get to be like, oh, this person's on my team, I will treat them nicely, and I will give them special favors. This person is not on my team, they're a horrible person, and I'll treat them terribly, and they deserve to die, or they deserve to be hurt. It bugs me, because we all see what's happening right now, this political divide, that people are getting more and more and more polarized. And that's a bad thing, because it kind of builds on itself. Because what happens is, people tend to divide. People stop talking to one another. And what happens is when they stop talking to another, they stop empathizing with the other side. They stop understanding where the other side is coming from, and they start assuming the worst. They start assuming the other side is evil. So they split even further. Then they become more hostile to each other. See, that's why one of my closest friends is a socialist. And I am proud of that. I don't even know if I'd say it. Proud isn't even the right word. But it's like, hey, I'm not going to let politics get in the way. It's like, I don't care what this person believes. Well, like, they're not a horrible person. And, it's kind of nice to have someone that disagrees with you quite a bit on things close by. Because then you can constantly talk to them about things. You can constantly see where they're coming from. And they can see where you're coming from. And I hate how these people, I just have to say, if you don't have someone that is on the opposite side of the political spectrum as a friend, you're in an echo chamber and stop. You need to really, open up get more diverse friends, is what I can say. Make your friend, or get more diverse friends. Diverse in terms of thoughts and ideas and perspectives, and not about, race. Don't get a token friend that is stupid. But again, there's a bookshop. How do bookshops work? Are we saying that we should, again, someone is harassing a person. Why are people defending harassment? It doesn't matter who it's to. It doesn't matter what the person's done in the past. We're talking about two people. One is harassing the other. I don't know why I'm trying to restate this so many times, because people will not get this. Just be nice. Just apply your principles universally. If someone is willing to go into your store and just be nice and not cause a scene, then fine. As soon as someone starts causing a scene, I'm going to tell them to get out. I don't know about this woman, other than that she was harassing someone. Doesn't matter who she was harassing. As long as the person she was harassing had not directly harmed her in the past, then I'd be like, okay, this is retaliation. But don't do it in a bookstore. But yeah, I don't get this. Why is this person, why are we attacking the bookstore and defending this woman? Okay. Can I get this to work, please? There we go. Okay, so going through these tweets, I just want to show you a few of them because they are absolutely awful. Palmer report. A woman peacefully confronted Steve Bannon at Black Swan Books in Richmond, Virginia. The owner of the store called the cops on her, siding with a white supremacist like Bannon is a terrible business model. I predict Black Swan Books will be out of business soon. This is incredibly biased and incredibly wrong. Peacefully confronted. I have no evidence of this. We don't have a video, unfortunately, so we cannot see exactly what happened. All we can go on is the testimony of the person who called the cops. That's all we really have to run on. And from the looks of it, the woman was harassing someone. Harassing is not peacefully confronting. Again, if you're going to confront someone, don't do it at a bookstore. Honestly, don't do it at all. I don't like people, even the people I agree with politically, when they confront someone on the street that they don't agree with, I don't really like that happening. I don't like when people are arrogant about it. They walk up to someone and they start asking them loaded questions. I don't like that. To me, it just seems unproductive. It just makes people hate you. It makes you look bad. I don't like it. But yeah, another thing, this owner is not siding with a white supremacist. The owner is not siding with Bannon. I imagine, again, I don't know too much about him, but it seems like he is applying his principles universally. I imagine that if Steve Bannon had come into that store and started harassing a woman, he would have told Steve Bannon to leave, and if he didn't, he would have called the cops. I guarantee that. I would bet money on it. I don't know the politics of this guy. I mean, in the article, they included the testimony of the guy. The guy wasn't saying oh, I love Steve Bannon. He's great. It's so mean. It's so bad that this woman was being mean to him. No, he was just this woman was harassing this man. That's bad. And I agree with that. That is the principled position. I know I'm repeating the same thing 10 times, but I'm trying to get it through to the people because I'm looking at these tweets. Normally, there's a healthy, I wouldn't even say healthy, but there's a nice political divide. There's a nice political, I guess, not even divide, but variation. There's a nice mix up there. You'll get some people saying this guy's good, some people saying this guy's bad, some people throwing out all kinds of various opinions. But this one, everyone talking about Steve Bannon is oh my God, this Black Swan Books is horrible. We need to boycott them. They're terrible people. It's why? I don't get this. All I can imagine is you're living in an echo chamber and you believe that anyone And you believe that these people are actual legitimate Nazis. And of course, therefore, like, again, if you're siding with Nazis, then that kind of makes you a Nazi, is the way the argument goes. And the only flaw in that argument is they're not Nazis. Anyway, there's the original Richmond article that I clicked on. Starting complaining. Where Steve Bannon is a piece of trash. Anyone going to call the cops on me? Here, let's hashtag it. This woman doesn't understand what's happening. She is tweeting about how bad Steve Bannon is. That's not harassing Steve Bannon. It's just a tweet. If he doesn't like it, he can shut off his Twitter account. He can stop looking on the internet. He can go away from it. This woman is not harassing him in a public place or in a private bookstore where the person has every right to say, "Get off my property." There is a big difference there. This person is deciding to post the Black Swan Books address, which is not doxing, but still, it's dumb. Again, like, I don't get why these people are against him. Steve Bannon, or Black Swan Books, was one of my favorite local independent bookstores until they defended Steve Bannon and turned the store into a safe space for white nationalists. Bad move, Black Swan. You are now blacklisted. Again, dumb. Stop. Why? They're saying it's a safe space for white nationalists. If I had a bookstore, I want it to be a safe place for anyone that is not causing a scene or causing problems or disrupting things. Like, if anyone, like, that's the thing. I did a video on the baking the cake thing. I have articles written on the whole baking the cake thing. I think a business should be allowed to turn away anyone, regardless of politics, regardless of whatever. They should be allowed to say, "Get off my property," for whatever reason. Like, if I walk into a bookstore and someone says, "Get off," I don't like the fact that you're wearing a blue shirt. Get off my property. I would be like, okay, that person's dumb, and I'm never going to their store again, even if I were allowed to. But they have every right to do that. I understand they have every right to do that. But the thing is, it's still dumb. So the whole time, I know, like, I'm defending all these people saying they have the right to do whatever they want with their store. That is true. If I were to run a bookstore, I would run it like this guy. I would say anyone is allowed in, as long as they're not causing a scene, as long as they're not currently being chased by the cops, I should say, for a violent crime. They're allowed in. They're allowed to. It's a bookstore. The purpose is to buy books. I want everyone to buy books. I want everyone to read. I want everyone to learn. Especially if I was running a bookstore, I want people to buy books from me. But yeah, boycotting this store. Now, I mean, I'll have to make a note of it maybe to one time go there, because I mean, I'm in Pennsylvania, so it's not too. That's about an 8-hour drive, maybe, to Richmond, 7-hour drive. Maybe I'll go there one of these days, and if I find myself in the area, I wouldn't really go out of my way, take a 7-hour drive, go there. But I like bookstores. I go to bookstores all the time, and this guy's done nothing wrong, basically. And I feel bad that he's going to lose business over this. I feel bad that this guy's going to lose business for being principled. And you might say, like, oh, being principled, supporting white supremacists. He's not taking a side here. Again, he doesn't care. I imagine he doesn't care about Steve Bannon. He's just like, hey, this person, regardless of their politics, regardless of whatever, was being harassed. I told the person harassing him to leave. That's great. That's exactly what we should expect from everyone. That is principle. That is the best position. Black Swan Books in Virginia must be called out immediately for siding with white supremacist Steve Bannon and calling cops on a peaceful woman for no good reason whatsoever. Now, again, I don't know if Steve Bannon's white supremacist. He doesn't seem like it. So that's the thing. Like, again, I don't like Steve Bannon, but he's probably not a white supremacist. And every time I see someone call someone a white supremacist, I mean, there are white supremacists out there, but most of the time it's because they're stuck in an echo chamber and they have no idea what they're talking about. And I tend to really dislike these people because I know they would gladly hurt someone. They would gladly celebrate violence against innocent people. That's what bugs me. Because they get stuck in their echo chamber. They think these people, just because they disagree with them, are terrible human beings, and then they start to justify violence. Which, again, these people aren't. I'm not saying these people here are necessarily justifying violence. They're justifying harassment, which I find odd. I don't justify harassment. I would never justify harassment. That's awful. I just find it so odd that they're justifying harassment now. That's messed up. The owner of Black Swan Books, who was very concerned about making Steve Bannon comfortable, was a priest whose wife resigned as national treasurer after stealing $2.2 million in church donations. I've seen that accusation. I have no idea how legitimate it is. I don't want to be like super biased and just skip all the tweets that are saying bad things about this bookstore owner. So again, I don't know if they're true or not. But if they are, like, I'm only talking in the context. I'm not saying the bookstore owner is a great human being. I'm just saying in this scenario, he did the right thing. In this scenario, he was a good person. As a bookstore owner, he's at least a good person. Twitter, do your thing. Boycott owner Nick Cook of Black Swan Bookstore. Calls police when Patriot Woman supposedly calls Steve Bannon a piece of trash, stating bookstore is a place for exchange of ideas. Really, where is she allowed to state her ideas in peace? Do it outside. Like, honestly, do it outside. Just take it outside. It's a bookstore. Imagine going to a library and harassing someone. Imagine going to a library, someone walks up, starts harassing you, and then the library is just like, the owners of the library are just like, you know what? It's fine. It's totally fine. Nothing wrong with that. You can be as loud as you want. Cause as much problems as you want. Throw a punch or two while you're at it. Like, that's just... Stop being so tribal. I hate this. Like, what this woman assaulted some... Not assaulted, sorry. This woman harassed someone in a bookstore. Why are you justifying that? Stop. Hey, Team Trump, may I suggest you guys stay out of bookstores and Mexican restaurants? You can all go into Chick-fil-A. You can go into all the Chick-fil-A you want, though, and I'm also pretty sure Hobby Lobby is safe for Trumpsters. Okay, so now this woman's going on and saying, oh, you're not allowed, like, you voted for Trump? You're not allowed in these stores. You voted for Trump? Don't go to a bookstore. Don't go to a Mexican restaurant. That's so dumb. Stop making everything political. A bookstore is not political. God. Like, there is nothing political that happened here. There was no political statement here. All the guy was saying is harassment is bad. Why is that controversial? This bugs me so much. And this isn't like, it's just that I'm surprised. The reason I'm upset is because I am so surprised at this. There aren't even, like, I'm going through the feed right now. This is just I clicked on the trending Steve Bannon name, and this is what I'm finding, and it's horrible. She only called Steve Bannon a piece of trash. There's so many other words for him, but that's a good start. Sadly, the bookstore owner sided with a man who emboldens white supremacists than with the American values. What American values? Tolerance? Again, I've said everything already. I've said everything that needs to be said. Every single tweet, I'm saying the exact same thing. Steve Bannon was at a bookstore called Black Swan when he was harassed. Am I the only one who thinks the racist didn't realize it was a bookstore he was going to? Black Swan. I don't really get that one. Disagree. People should go there specifically, walk in and tell the owner that Steve Bannon is trash, then walk out. That's how you really send a message. Again, I guess the message is apparently, like, if you see someone harassing someone else, and the person that's being harassed is someone that you don't really like, I don't know, join in on the harassment? I don't get it. Steve Bannon and the rest of you white supremacist people flying the MAGA red hat flag better get used to be confronted by the rest of decent society. Expect to keep seeing and hearing us everywhere you try to go. Your brief reign of terror is over. Now crawl away. Again, like, I know the justification is, like, you can't be tolerant towards intolerant people. Like, do not beat up anyone in the street. I'm just saying that is a rule I have. I don't care if you're part of Antifa. I don't care if you walk out in public wearing, like, the hammer and sickle, wearing a communist, like, all kinds of communist stuff. Like, I don't care if you go out saying if you're wearing a shirt saying Hitler is a good person. You could say whatever you could wear or say whatever horrible things you want, and I will not attack you. I will retaliate. Again, like, when I said I wouldn't, like, attack someone from Antifa, if there is a whole Antifa mob coming at me, or if there's someone from Antifa throwing a punch at me, I will retaliate. But I will not throw the first punch, because I am not a horrible human being. I am principled. Now Bannon, he's confronted briefly Saturday at an indie bookstore. Okay, that's just posting about the news. The best part is this store owner was trying to defend his attempt to imprison someone for expressing her opinion as a defense of free speech. Again, this is not a free speech issue. She was harassing someone. The thing is, if you want to do it outside, fine. If you want to say a political opinion in a bookstore, again, like if I had a bookstore, if you want to discuss politics in a bookstore, fine. I have nothing against that. If you want to promote whatever ideology you want, no matter how horrible it is, okay, you can do that. And by promote, I mean, of course, like, talk to someone about it. But it's a bookstore. If you're causing problems, if you're being loud, if you're harassing someone, get out. I fully support this guy. Again, not in general, but I mean in this specific instance, the guy did the right thing. The guy did the principled thing. If you disagree with me and somehow made it this far in the video, because I've said this thing 1,000 times, post a comment. Tell me why you disagree. Let's have a discussion. But I'm just saying, anyone posting a comment disagreeing with me is saying harassment is good. And I'm not even like doing the, oh, if you're saying this, you actually mean this. No, you are saying harassment is good. Harassment is not okay. Ever. Pretty soon these same people are gonna pretty soon some Trump supporter or some right-wing woman is gonna get molested or raped, and they're gonna say, well, she shouldn't have dressed that way. She deserved it. She shouldn't have asked for it. I imagine they're gonna say that eventually, because this is not that far away. This is awful. Woman in Richmond bookstore told Steve Bannon that's a piece of trash. I think I read this one already. Richmond, this is Steve Bannon's car, just saying. I don't know if that's doxing or not. I think that is. Oh my god, this guy again. A bookstore owner called the police on a woman for calling Steve Bannon a piece of trash. Tell me again, who are the snowflakes? Again, I don't see how this is a snowflake thing. It's not like the bookstore owner's feelings were hurt. It's not like Steve Bannon's feelings were hurt. It's that this woman was harassing someone. Again, how long does this mean that I can pick a fight with someone on the street, beat them up, and then if they call the cops, I can be like, look at these snowflakes calling the cops after I beat them up. Again, there's a difference between harassment and actual violence. I understand that's the difference. I'm just saying it's not that far away. Again, if I start yelling at someone, if I start picking a fight with people, as in verbally, if I start verbally abusing someone, does that make them a snowflake to call the cops? I don't get this. This is absolutely terrible. They're defending verbal harassment. They are defending verbal abuse. Again, I don't know exactly what was said. All I know is that she called him a piece of trash. I imagine because he asked her to leave and she said no, that it progressed a bit further than that. That wasn't the only word that was exchanged. But I mean, I would hold a zero tolerance policy. Someone says a mean thing to someone else in my store, get out. That would be my policy. It doesn't matter what their politics are. I mean, if there's someone with it, again, if there's someone that walks in with some kind of hammer and sickle clothing, and then someone wearing a MAGA hat comes in and starts calling them a horrible person, I would say, get out of my store. Don't insult my customers. Don't mess with my customers. That just seems like the decent thing to do to me. Steve Bannon was confronted at Black Swan Books this afternoon, leading the owner to call the police. He also appears to be friends with the owner, who half-jokingly said he'll need Bannon to protect him when the police come to lock up the liberals. No room for Nazis in Richmond. I don't know if that's true. I haven't seen anything about that. Words are words, not bullets. If Trump can harass and bully 24/7, 365 with no repercussions, then others can speak their minds as well. Again, this is such a different thing. This is not the same situation. We are talking in person in a bookstore. You don't see Trump going around harassing people in person. You don't see people doing that. Or you don't see Trump doing that. There is such a big difference here. Here we go. The first tweet that is not absolutely awful. Again, I'm not endorsing this person, whoever it is. I don't know if this is a real person because it's Twitter. The left is cheering the harassment. When someone killed, they all need to be charged as Okay, I don't know what that person is saying. Let's ignore that. In the words of Maxine Waters, anyone who publicly supports the Trump administration should expect pushback when out in public. We must take sides. Neutrality helps the oppressor, never the victim. Silence encourages the tormentor, never the tormented. Okay, you guys are going to lose, right? I'm just saying, we know how this is going to happen. We know if people are pushing this to violence, we know who's going to lose. It's not going to be these people that are winning. And we do not want violence to happen. This isn't a threat or anything. I'm just saying, we know which side's going to win. The side that's yay, guns, that owns so many guns, and the people that are not, the people that are not willing to actually throw a few punches. Listen, I'm all for self-defense. That's the thing. If someone attacks me, I encourage, if anyone is attacked, do whatever you want to defend yourself. Again, don't kill the person. But there were actually a few posts recently talking about how, I guess a guy stole a car. The guy had a gun on him. That the owner of the car had a gun on him. Shot the guy in the car. The guy died. Did he deserve to die? Probably not. But he was stealing a car. the car thief did not show empathy to the guy with the gun, or to the owner of the car. I don't see why the owner of the car should show empathy to the guy stealing his car. There was another video of a guy, there was an Antifa fight between like right-wingers and Antifa in the streets. Some Antifa guy came at this one guy with, I think it was a pipe. It was some kind of like metal, I think it was metal, but some kind of weapon. Makeshift weapon, not like an axe or anything, but like some kind of weapon, like a pipe. The guy blocked it, punched him in the face, apparently gave him a brain bleed. Now he has 25% chance to live. Is it sad that the guy's going to die? If he does die, yes, I hope he doesn't die. If he died, I would not celebrate that. I think that is absolutely awful if he actually did die. But I had no empathy for him, because he went to attack someone with a pipe. Who knew? He could have probably done equal damage. Again, attacking someone with a weapon compared to punching the guy in the face with a bare fist. Once you start attacking people, once you start being the aggressors, I have no sympathy for you. And I don't think anyone should. Like, that is my simple principle. The person to throw the first punch, I have no sympathy for you. And again, I'm not talking sides, because my whole thing is, like, again, if someone from Antifa were to do a horrible thing, which they have done, they've attacked people with bike locks, and I see someone wearing an Antifa shirt, I don't consider them complicit. I don't consider them as, I can now do violence to them because someone did violence to someone else. I don't consider that the case. But if people are going to organize and start being actually violent, again, if someone is clearly on the opposite side, and people on that side are throwing punches to me, I'm not going to throw the first punch to that guy. But he comes after me, of course I am. Like, you have to realize that, again, someone being dressed a certain way, or someone holding certain positions, like, don't harass them. Just, if you really want to defeat them, write an article, make a video, saying how awful they are, saying why you disagree with them. Don't be violent. But, I guess the picture of Steve Bannon is crying is a good place to stop. Hopefully, I am recording right. Okay, good. Yeah, I guess that's a good way to stop. Holy crap, this went for nearly 30 minutes. Let me know what you think in the comments. I want your opinions on this. This just seems like such a simple issue to me. Don't support harassment, and yet people are. Again, like, I'm going to, hopefully some people that disagree with me will watch this and let me know their side. Hopefully we'll have some good discussions in the comment section. That's what I want, discussions, because so long as you have free speech, so long as you have an equal exchange of ideas and discussion, there won't be violence. Once you start separating people, once you say don't talk to that person, once you start putting yourself in an echo chamber, that's when the violence starts to happen, and it's really sad that that happens, and it shouldn't. But yeah, like the video if you enjoyed. Sorry it's so long. Sorry it was so repetitive. Subscribe for more. Press the subscribe button below. Really helps me out if you do that. And thanks for watching.